Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And right now, you've got the Queen of Cups. This is a lot of water energy, okay? This is a card about emotional transparency. This is a card of radical self-acceptance, of radical self-love, okay? I feel like you're somebody who is trying to become more in touch with their emotions. You probably are already very intuitive, very empathic. You're probably very self-aware. You have a high, what do they call it, emotional intelligence. Yeah. But I feel like we could always do a little more work, you know. I feel maybe right now there's something going on where you're realizing, okay, I got to search inside a little bit more to really see how I feel about something. Whatever's going on in your life, you're not trying to think about it logically. You're not trying to reason yourself through it. You're just trying to really peer inside, lift the veil of our own soul and try to find out, what do I really feel about this thing or this situation or this person or whatever it might be. But you're somebody who's also trying to, I think be real about how you feel, toward other people. So it is about emotional transparency, usually to ourselves. But I think there's an effort there to be honest with how we feel to other people in our lives that have sort of, let's say, earned that privilege, So I feel like that's your work right now. It's trying to peer down into those depths, because especially when it comes to our desires, because the Queen of Cups is talking about the different depths of the ocean. There's this sort of surface, right, where we're just kind of reflecting the world around us. It's just it's the surface tension of the water. It's just sort of reflecting the energy around it, reflecting the emotions or the desires of other people, and that's the very, very top. There's the shallow end, right, which we sort of use to gratify our immediate desires. This is what I want right now, And then, of course, there's the deeper level, which that's where the monsters are. That's where the really crazy stuff is that lives down there, And it's long-term sort of long-term desires, delayed gratification, a deeper understanding of who we are and sort of what we want and why we want those things, So let's put this card into some context. Let's see what's going on with you this week. That's a very good card to get. This is deep, And then look at that. Wow. Right on top of the double water, we get double fire. Yeah. So I feel like whatever you're learning here, whatever you're discovering here, is giving way to this motivation. I feel like you are an inspired individual right now. That's pretty odd, because it's a Knight of Wands, right? It's fire on fire. This is water on water. So it is absolutely a pure, in this case, we kind of look at the water as the fuel for this fire, right? And that's a pretty good ratio. Double water, double fire. It seems like it's a nice flow. Here we have more. Oh, this is mutable fire. This is actually one of your superpower cards. And this is a combination of water and fire. It's a mutable fire, the Queen of Wands. Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Three of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. Yes. Yes, this is a discovery for you. We have a Princess of Swords. Makes perfect sense over here. We've got a 6 of Wands. Very nice. A 9 of Cups and a 6. Wow, a 6 of Swords at the end there, which is the perfect sort of evolution of our Princess of Swords, right? Then becoming the 6 of Swords, or achieving the 6 of Swords, maybe we could say. This is really extraordinary. I feel that this really is your time. I think that the Wheel of Fortune here is all about the divine timing. It's, the Wheel of Fortune is the cosmic timepiece, right? It's Spirit's wristwatch. And it's kind of like saying, hey, Sagittarius, it's your time. Figure out what you want and go get it. And the Wheel of Fortune is kind of saying, whatever you decide on, I'll help you, The universe is going to match you in your efforts. That's really, really great. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're just going to set it down right over here. We're going to put Tiny Bob Ross right on top. Happy little Bob. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, right? But it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If you have a prediction, as always, put it in the comments down below. We can do it together. We can exercise our intuition. Yeah. Let's take a look around the room one more time. Major arcana, all we have is the Wheel of Fortune. So it's kind of saying, look, it's your time now to focus on your dreams, your wishes, your deepest aspirations, what you really truly do want in life. It could be anything. Right? It could be romance. It could be financial success. We've got our Earth cards, and in that sense, we've got one major. We've got the fire energy here. We've got water and water, air and air, and we've got earth and earth. So really, this is going to be something I think that satisfies a lot of desires. It's not, we think of, well, I want, financial security. Okay, but that's just one part of life. Well, I want, stable relationships. Yeah, that's another part. Now we got 2, right? We sort of have to look all the way down the line at what we want and sort of extrapolate or even kind of generalize a little bit more, or build up the details even, perhaps, maybe not generalizing. But that's where the Knight of Wands comes in. Because this is a card, all the knights are looking at the future. Just as the queens really are sort of appreciating the past. Yeah, so you have past and future here, which is interesting. And, well, we had another queen down here, so I think that maybe is another reflection on the past. Okay? But as far as the future goes, the Knight of Wands is looking at the 10 of Wands, right? Looking at the future, long-term goals. What is it that you want to put all of your effort into? What are you willing to really put in maximum effort to achieve? Well, we think, okay, finances, maybe romance, maybe family stuff, maybe I want stable relationships with friends, maybe I want creative fulfillment, maybe I want a spiritual practice, a spiritual life. I want to be of service, I want to participate in the world, and what I want to work with animals, all these things, right? Many different things. It's sort of putting the details on what that long-term life is going to look like. Okay. And then, of course, what the knights do, all of the knights of the tarot, they work their way backwards. They sort of reverse engineer that big picture, complex, sort of complete future vision of life. They work their way backwards and figure out, okay, how do I get there? Maybe prioritizing what needs to come first. Well, maybe I got to get away from some old stuff first. And maybe I got to focus on financial, stability. Maybe at the same time, right? These are all sort of overlapping goals. At the same time, I got to strengthen my relationship with my family and friends, and I have to have this, creative outlet, and I have to maintain my spiritual practice. all the while sort of focusing on securing that financial foundation. From there, whatever your goals are, right? But you have to have goals, right, in order to pursue them and to achieve them, right? 6 of Wands here. So I like the Knights because they are very future-focused. Big picture, long-term, the huge goals, the big sort of life, where do you want to put in all of your effort? Because with maximum effort, we get maximum rewards, maximum satisfaction. Okay. Having the Queen of Wands underneath the surface is your reflection on the past. Okay. Now, I don't know your history. Okay, but I feel that maybe there is a karmic situation that's just about to end here. We take these 2 cards together. This is the card of karma. It's the card of divine timing and divine cycles and spiritual cycles that we're on. But the Queen, as we know, is always reflecting on the past, right? So this might be, what did you give your effort to in the past that either did or did not work out for you? And how can we learn lessons from that situation or that period of time or whatever, and apply that to what we're doing right now? Okay. Because with the Knights, we're looking at the future. With the Queens, we're looking at the past, But we do have to, I think, sort of snap back to the present, and start taking care of business. So we have to have the assessment of the past to understand what you'd been through, how you feel about it, what part of your history or your past or even sort of a present now has to become the past, right? What do you need to move on from in order to make room for what you truly, truly, deeply wish for and desire and aspire to? So the Queens are trying to understand the past and sort of what you've given your heart and your energy to, that maybe now we need to refocus some of that. We got to start making new plans, right, moving forward. So I think there is a bit of a karmic cycle that you've been dealing with. Okay, and I think it is time to bring something to a conclusion in order to bring something new. And it doesn't have to be like, well, you got to end your relationship to then go start a new relationship. Or no, I feel like it's more of an attachment to an energy or a way of dealing with things, or even if we're talking about the water energy, even letting go of some things in your life that were only sort of shallow end desires and aspirations, because we're going deeper. So as you go deeper, a lot of other things may not really seem so important to you anymore. And so it's okay for the, again, mutable fire. So this is an effort that's sort of on its way out. We're concluding things with the Queen of Wands, right? It's okay to let some of these things go if we no longer feel the need to devote our energy to them. Even just little things, right? Like, I'm going to cut back on sugar and salt, Maybe over the summer I personally indulged a little too much in sweets and things. And now it's time to really let go of that sort of energy and get back to a more disciplined, diet and exercise, for me personally anyway. But that's sort of the thing we're talking about, okay? But we could also be talking about larger things, about our commitment to a relationship or a family situation or a friendship or a job, a career, relationship, whatever it is, okay? That we have to, and that's where it gets very personal, because you have to assess what those things are. And know sort of what the cycles are and what things can be concluded here, because we've got to get back to work. The 3 of Pentacles up at the top here. This is the focus. This is kind of us in the present, knowing what it's going to take for us to achieve our current goals. I don't want to say new goals, because maybe they're not so new. Maybe they've always been there, but this is a shifting of focusing. That's deeply with that Queen of Cups. That's deeply what I want. That's deeply what I care about. And I'm going to be very honest with myself. I want that. This other stuff doesn't matter so much. So it may not be new goals. It may just be a refocusing on your current goals. Yeah. The Three of Pentacles becomes your understanding of the process of creation on the physical plane. In other words, the blood, sweat, and tears. You know what it's going to take to get these things done, so we've got to be willing to make the so-called sacrifices. I know what I want, so I know I need to give up a little bit of salt and sugar in my diet, And I'm okay with that. I know it's going to be tough. I know what I'm going to have to do. It's just a matter now of doing it, And that's the hard part, obviously, is taking that sort of first step to getting something done. But I feel like this is talking about things being in motion. There's already some momentum here. So it's really, it's to just pull in some energy that might be leaking out in other places and put it all into this Three of Pentacles and start getting stuff done. And then what we see in the future position is very, very good. It's an Eight of Pentacles. Right, when we have a 3, it's sort of a potential, it's a potential result. It's us knowing what it's going to take to get the result, right? And of course, we add in, what do we need? We need an invisible 5 of Pentacles or 5 of something, right? Which shows movement and change. We're putting our effort into that 3, and well, it's then becoming an 8. It's starting to grow, maybe slowly, but we'll see results over time. Okay, this is a card that says you can't have your dream job, your financial security, your strong relationships, your pets, your plants, your people, your creative and spiritual life, all succeeding overnight. It doesn't work that way, right? This is a card that says, well, okay, maybe it's a little bit more focus on the finances for a couple of weeks or a few months as I'm continuing to sort of reestablish my spiritual practice, and then I've got to think about diet and exercise in this card too, and I want to strengthen my relationship with my parents, and it's just like all these things are happening concurrently. Some are going to be faster or slower than others. The spiritual, and really all of them are going to be long-term sort of commitments, right? You don't just think about your finances for a couple months and then it's just whatever. Then the budget goes out the window. But maybe we focus on it for a certain amount of time, and then it's okay. It's going strong. Let me focus some of my efforts, somewhere else. And these things happen concurrently, but it's an organic sort of process, and everything is growing. And it's not linear. Things are going to be showing more progress over here, and maybe it's going to be slower in your relationship, or the romantic part's not really going to be there right away, or maybe it is. But your relationships with your siblings or your parents or your family or whatever is a little bit more slow, or the finances kind of come more slowly, but the other things are faster. And you know what I mean. It's an Eight of Pentacles. Everything is sort of growing, but it's not always equal and linear. And that's what we sort of see with the Wheel of Fortune, right? Because the Wheel of Fortune is all expansion. It's kind of saying we want our world to grow, equally in all directions, right? If we want this perfect circle, shout out to Maynard, we want our life to grow as a perfect circle, right? Perfect sphere, really. Great book by Michael Crichton, by the way. I've now moved on to Andromeda Strain, which I'm in the first few, I don't know, I've read couple dozen pages or something, and I like it so far. I never thought I'd be a Michael Crichton fan, but here I am. But we want our life to grow out equally. We want a perfect round spherical ball, right? That's ideal, where every area of our life is growing equally. There's equal expansion all around. We don't want a weird, egg-shaped basketball, right? We don't want one of those water balloon that sort of gets this pear shape, right? Those are the weird ones. We want the perfectly spherical expansion. But what we get, of course, in real life, in the practical world here, is the sort of oblong water balloon, the pear-shaped water balloon, right? And that's okay, because it's real, it's practical, it exists here with us. This is sort of the ideal of things, right? The ideal and the real. Relatively real, I guess. Put real in quotation marks. let's talk about the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything, helps the channel. I appreciate that. I have another channel, Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. I'm posting 1 story, 2 stories per week. So go check that out, subscribe over there. And we'll talk about the Princess of Swords. Princess of Swords, I think, is you trying to figure out, trying to learn new things. Because again, you've been through this already. We have these queens that are reflecting on the past. This isn't the first time that you've had goals. This isn't the first time that you've tried to do something that you care about, or to improve your life, or to think about your long-term future and what sort of bigger picture that's going to be. It's not the first, it's not your first rodeo. So the Princess of Swords is us taking all of the information from those queens, from the past sort of retrospective, and trying to figure out, what is that? How can I translate that into a new plan? Into, like, what has to be different this time? So this is a card of learning. This is a card of being open to learning new things. This is a card that does not, sometimes it does, I guess, but tries not to feel as if I already know everything. There's nothing new under the sun. You can't teach me anything new. It's a princess. It's a page, right? It's still learning how to become the knight, learning how to become, the emperor, really. And so it has to be open to learning. It's like a squire. It's like a knight in training. Okay, so it's saying, yeah, teach me. I'm going to make mistakes. And with the queens, looking at the past, maybe we have made some mistakes. Maybe we put our energy into things that we really didn't want, that was sort of like, it was a learning experience, But that's just it. We have to learn from those experiences, and that's where the karma comes into. That we're going to continue to go through that spiritual lesson, round and round she goes, if we don't learn the lesson of what it was in that past that, I need to either avoid now or do more of now, in order to make this the real success. In order for this to really stick this time, what needs to change? It's like me with my eating habits. And I apologize about talking about myself, but it's my show, so I'm going to. I've tried to sort of get into better shape over the years, and it's not my first rodeo. I every so often in these sort of cycles, I make these commitments. All right, I'm going to cut out the salt, cut out the sugar. I'm going to become more active, and I'm going to do it this time, right? I've got to understand. I've got to try to figure out why it hasn't really been working. What is preventing it from really sticking? And that's what I mean with the sort of the more generalized sort of energy. I have these specific goals that I want. Yeah, but what's the underlying current that I need to grab onto that's going to make all those things work? Is it belief in myself? Is it confidence? Is it being emotionally transparent with myself? Is it doing that sort of emotional depth work? Is it a question of self-worth and valuation? But the Princess of Swords is open to figuring those things out. It can be a defensive card. You see, the figure is in a bit of a defensive position, kind of saying, no, I'm not going to listen to that. And ready with that sword, ready to strike back. We've got to just be like, okay, it might not be what I want to hear, but I need to think about these things and figure out what's different this time, right? What do I need to learn? What should I have learned, or what should I be learning? In order to make this the one, make this the time. This is the time it sticks, And I believe that it is the time for you. We have the 6 of Wands in the position of the environment. This is victory. This is victory after struggle. And if we look at the past as being sort of a struggle, being, this is success after strife, right? This is a win after a lot of fighting, right after the struggle. And it's it's a reinforcement. Every time that we sort of see a little bit of progress being made, it reinforces our confidence, and we get a little bit more, we start to feel a little bit more capable of doing these things, It's motivating, right? This is the card in the environment. It's a card that's talking about your relationships. And really, I think for you, it's important that you find relationships with people, places, and things, pets, plants, people, all that stuff. Find relationships that are going to be supportive and encouraging and motivating you toward your goals. In other words, find people to do it with. If this is for me personally, again, my show, if this is me and my fitness, my overall health, what this is saying to me is that I've got to find somebody, a person or multiple people, that I can do this with. That it maybe invokes a little bit of healthy competition, but not unhealthy competition, right? Where we're trying to outdo each other. No, but it's just like holding each other accountable, and being motivated, saying, oh, okay, they're making some progress. They're up at 5 o'clock and they're going for their walk in the morning. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to meet up with them. I'm going to do it too. It's sort of encouraging each other, whether it's one person, a friend, family member, a spouse or whatever, or just strangers, people on the internet, whatever it is. I don't know, maybe there's some way that we can do that here in this community for those of us that don't have a lot of people physically around us, that almost feel, physically isolated in where we live. Maybe there's some way online that we can do this, where we can pick some goals that we have, and we can find somebody that has that goal too, and we can sort of exchange emails or whatever, and we can encourage each other to do it. And we can check in on that daily, or come up with some sort of a plan or a schedule or a collaboration a little bit. And that's the 6 of Wands. It's that teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? My daughter's been saying that more often lately, and I like it. The 9 of Cups, when we're over here, the 9 of Cups is what we don't want, because sometimes this is the feeling of sort of overindulgence, right? It's a 9 of Cups. I mean, those cups are almost full, and this is the card. It's an active card. It's an odd numbered card, right? It's a function. It's a verb. We're satisfying desires here. Okay, and I feel that when we're over here assessing things and we're trying to put our effort into that 3 of Pentacles, we don't really want the immediate gratification. We don't want, to immediately get the reward. But then I feel like we're sort of going to slow down, or we're going to stop aspiring so high. We're going to stop sort of the ambition, from really extending out to that sort of dream, that sort of best life, long-term future, all the goals, right? We start getting rewards too early, and then we feel like, well, I could just stop right here, Again, back to myself. When I've been doing the other times where I've been doing the exercising and becoming more active and watching what I eat and stuff, trying to become more healthy, more fit, I'll go to the gym for a week, really like early in the morning. I'll do it. My diet will be really, really strict. And then at the end of the week, I just think, well, I made some progress. I'm feeling better. I'm looking better. I'm going to have a bunch of ice cream today. It's a Sunday. Might as well, right? And then I sort of treat myself. And then, of course, I start to feel like either one, you feel guilty about it, or two, you sort of feel like, well, yeah, I've made some progress already. I can sort of take a break from it. Or maybe this was as far as I needed to go. This was as healthy as I needed. It's been a week. I mean, come on, how much progress could there be? Right? But it's sort of it's unconsciously telling us that you've made it. You've already gotten to the goal. You're good. So I think over here on the path of the dove, we reject this. But when we get to the path of the serpent, we realize that we do need this, and this is the. Now, changing the flavor of this becomes the deeper desires. right? It becomes that long-term, the effort toward the long-term fulfillment. This is abundance on this is abundance on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative planes. Okay? This is not the satisfaction of desire so much, but as the pursuit of that satisfaction, the pursuit of that real long-term gratification. In terms of me doing the exercise and all that stuff, the gratification shouldn't come in just, well, I get to have ice cream on Sundays. Maybe that works for you. It doesn't really work for me, because then I'll have ice cream on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, and that'll be the end of it, right? For me personally. But rather than having those immediate desires gratified, this is us focused on the long-term goals and how gratifying those are going to be. What's going to feel better for me? To work out all week and have ice cream on Sunday, or to work out for, however long, 6 months, a year, to make it a part of my foundation, right? And have that ongoing, continual gratification day after day after day of knowing that I'm doing it, and that I'm healthier, that I can breathe easier, that I can move around, easier, and walk up flights of stairs and do all these things, because that's a happiness that keeps on happening, right? That's a dream that keeps on dreaming. That's a life that keeps on living, right? That's a gratification that keeps on gratifying. It's not just the ice cream one day, one time, one bowl, and then, it's sort of an ongoing satisfaction. And so that's more motivating too. And so take this how you will, but the Six of Swords at the very end, right? Another six, right? So we have the Six of Wands, we have the Six of Swords. It is about the divine plan. It's about kind of having that connection, having that network of people, whether it's online or in your personal private life at home. This is resonance and harmony, right? After confusion. Right? After not understanding, it's sort of the princess going through that process of trying to figure it out. And that, Five of Swords, then we get the Six of Swords. Just like the Five of Wands becomes the Six of Wands, right? The Five of Wands, fighting, strife, and, sort of pushing against something becomes teamwork, becomes harmony, becomes a nice flow of progress and success, becomes victory. Just, the same way that the confusion, the doubt, the trying to figure something out mentally, trying to formulate a plan eventually becomes the plan, okay? That we're able to really get an established way forward. So it takes a little bit of that stress out of it, and whether this involves, again, networking and making connections with people in order to motivate and keep ourselves accountable and all this sort of stuff. But I think this is just sort of having the plan in place and realizing, too, that it's part of the divine plan, that this is part of really what is meant for you. And this is, in a big way, this is part of that karmic cycle. And we've got to get out of this particular cycle because, Spirit's trying to show us something and teach us something. And of course, the Princess of Swords is saying, I need to discover what that lesson is. I think this is the discovery. I think this is now understanding, seeing. It's kind of like an aha moment where, the light bulb goes off and we can see the reason for everything. We can see the bigger picture. I can see what it was that I've been doing cycle after cycle after cycle. It's not that I've done this 10 times now. I've done it once, and each time, and it's, it's the one time, it's the same thing, really, over and over and over again. I have to understand how this is going to be different this time, and that we have that Six of Swords. I think this is very, very good. Let's look at the mystery card. What is the aftermath? What is the result of all of this, right? What is the point, in a way? So we have our knight here. I almost want to see a 10 of Wands, right? To show the knight is sort of looking at that future, the future life, the effort, the 10 of Wands, right? So I'm thinking probably 10 of Wands here. Otherwise, we've got our 9 here. Maybe we get a 10 of cups, 9 and 10 of cups, kind of showing that we're always sort of striving for more. We're not looking for that bowl of ice cream at the end of the week to make us feel good about all our efforts, but we're looking at living that life that feels satisfying every single day because I'm living that life, that I've become a person who is health conscious, for me personally. That I've built that into my core, so to speak. I've built that into my foundation, going from a 9 to a 10, and always striving. And anytime that we feel like we've reached a milestone, it's not the end of the path. Then I can have the bowl of ice cream. I can feel good about what I accomplished this week, knowing it's part of a larger path, a larger process, right? So it's going to be a 10 of cups, 10 of wands. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Yes, 10 of cups. It's the happy life, right? It's the dream come true. It's the wish come true. It is the long-term, bigger picture gratification of all of these deepest soul desires. And I'm just using the fitness thing, the health thing is my own, but it could be anything. It's many, many different things. It is the happy life that has, everything that you've dreamed of. This is the picture of happiness. Picture perfect happiness. Dream come true. All of your wishes coming true. Yeah. And this is how you do it. This is how it's going to happen. Okay. Very, very nice. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Sagittarius, Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to the Dove and Serpent bedtime stories as well. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.